Are we gonna get a fifth win?
I'm praying, dude. I don't know which God I gotta pray to, but I'm praying.
The football gods,
The football
God,
gods.
every God. You know what I'm saying? I'll make some sacrifices if I have to, but uh, I don't know. But hey, everyone, this video is obviously covering the Seahawks versus Rams. We got an NFC West throwdown this upcoming weekend with the Rams.
We hope
Um,
it's. I mean, we hope it's gonna be a throwdown. I'm over
yeah, it's
here.
not. Yeah.
I'm a Debbie Downer. You forgot me. You forgot about that.
I'm at least positive enough, but it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I want to be positive, but I can't be as positive, especially after that game with the Bills, which we have talked about before. Go watch that, and we were basically just, if we had drinks, we would be drunk, probably like not even halfway through that video. But yeah, I guess one thing with the Rams and the Seahawks game here is one, I don't know where our Seahawks are at right now mentally because they had a little bit of a meltdown at the Bills game, and to make matters worse, Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup came back and they already had one game under their belts. So it's not like we can have like the rusty game from the two receivers or anything. If you call them splitting, what was it, 57 yards between the two of them, a rusty game. But
Dude, we're really on the way down, and they're really on the way back up. They had a rough start to the season, and we were 3-0, and we're
oh
like,
man,
we're just like we're just intersecting right here.
basically because they're 3-4, we're 4-4.
Yeah,
It's just like you said, we're just trading places. You know what I'm saying? So
Seahawks really need to win this week. I mean, it comes down to that, plain and simple. But it comes at a really unfortunate time. I think they're still dealing with offensive lineman injuries. The Rams are, but they got a freak like Kyron Williams in the backfield and Matt Stafford slinging the ball. He had 4 touchdowns and a pick last week against the very good defensively Minnesota Vikings. And like you said, Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua are back, and also got guys like I think was it Demarcus Robinson? Was that what his name was?
yeah. Mhm.
He caught 2 touchdowns. Colby
But all
Parkins,
three of their receivers can, well, even prior to Puka. See, the
Tutu
thing about the
Atwell.
Rams, yeah, because like the thing with the 49ers, for some reason they always find running backs even in the receivers. They find running backs every time. Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey through a trade, Jordan Mason out of nowhere, and then even I'm gonna butcher this man's last name, Garan.
Garan or something like that. Yeah.
Like that's four running backs that have all like pilfered through the 49ers offense. With the Rams, it's always the receivers. They can keep on finding receivers because Matt Stafford is that guy.
And we talked about this in a previous video too. The greatest offensive coaches in the league right now are great offensive line coaches. That's why you can plug and play any running back in either the Rams or the
49ers,
49ers or the Chiefs or the
definitely the Ravens.
Ravens. Ravens especially, they put a great running back behind a great line, and look what you get. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that have great offenses right now, and it always starts with the run game, and the run game
Hmm.
always starts with the offensive line. I bitched about it a lot last week because I needed to get it off my chest, but we just can't seem to run the ball. And I think we got to do that. We got to be able to do that if we want to have any chance of winning this game. Because if we go pass, 3 and out, we're taking, 30 seconds off the clock at most and giving
Hmm.
them all the time in the world to just dominate possession. We got to be able to establish a foothold.
Yeah, anything, man. Because that's why the Bills had 38 minutes compared to what it was like 22 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was just so drastic. I think I don't know where I heard this. Might have been from you or someone else. Basically, like the best defense is a great run offense. So
Yeah.
you gotta
I
you
didn't.
gotta run
You
the
heard it from
ball.
me, but I heard it from Richard Sherman with KJ Wright.
There you go.
Yeah, I gotta get my
So
citations because that was a good lesson, right? It comes to, that's why during the Pete Carroll era it was always force the run. It felt like almost, but little did we know that actually the Pete Carroll era is kind of what a lot of teams are doing right now. The Lions are
it's
50-50 on their snap count, on their play call count too, between the run and pass.
yeah.
Um,
that's having a balance. It doesn't have to be all run unless your offense is designed to be a power run. I think that's what
Yeah,
Pete Carroll wanted. He wanted a heavy power run offense. That's why we had the three tight end looks and stuff. Like I think it was last year, the year before, we were so happy to see three tight ends,
I loved it, dude.
just for them to run the ball most of the time. I think we did that a little bit early in this season. Then we kind of,
We moved away
you
from it for
know,
some reason.
well, our offensive coordinator is from an air raid offense scheme, so of course, go Huskies. Of
No,
course,
no, I mean in that season we moved away from it, but yeah, we don't also have the personnel package that we did at the time. Will Disley's over there at the Chargers now, and Colby
yeah.
Parkinson's there in LA with him for
Yeah,
the
so we're
Rams.
gonna see. Yeah, so Colby Parkinson's at the Rams. Is he gonna have like a revenge game? Like, are they gonna let him get a lot of like reps and stuff like that? I don't think so. He's not the starter, mind you, but
Higby's
he
injured, right?
does get some catches. I think he's like second. I think he does get catches here and there,
But Higby is
where he
hurt, right?
can. Who?
Tyler Higby.
Yes, I don't. Let me see. I was looking and I don't see any injury report on him. He might be on like the injury report, but I think he's limited. If anything, I think he's gonna. I think he should be
Oh yeah, he
good
tore
to
his
go unless
ACL
it's
MCL
something.
last season.
Yeah. So I think he's good to go. Like I haven't seen anything on him currently. The only one on the injury reports right now is Puka Nakua leaving practice early today on this Thursday as we record. Um, he left early with a knee injury, and they're just kind of saying it's a day-to-day thing if he'll be ready for the Seattle game or not. So as a Rams fan, I don't know what else to tell you besides like, Puka, you should just sit there and just watch watch
Yeah.
practice or something like that. But um gives me like the same vibes as Puka Nakua, but Kyron Williams is like the big bad man over there on that offense because I have him on fantasy at bad. He'll get a running touch, a rushing touchdown, a passing touch, a reception touchdown, and then he's like, you know what? Maybe another rushing touchdown won't. I don't mind.
Yeah,
So again,
Ernest Jones is gonna. I think it's gonna be his first game as well, too, right?
yes, I believe he was there with us in this last game. I don't know how much he played, if he did play. Um, But yeah, this should be his first game after like a good week of practice. Hopefully, um, we'll get to see him for that run game and stuff like that. Hopefully, our O line can handle Jared Verse, the edge that the Rams picked up from Florida State. They picked him up 19th pick overall, but and Braden Fisk from Florida State as well. So they picked up the teammates, and they're there on that D line. And Jared Verse, some people are saying like, yo, like so far, like rookie defensive player of the not defensive player of the year, but like defensive player standout as a rookie, it was Jared Verse. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people are saying this, but and like if we had to just do all the awards in the middle of this week, so watch out for. I would definitely watch out for the D line. With the Rams, they're building up a nasty D line. Like I wish we had a second pick so we can double dip into the D line ourselves, but alas, um, not there's not much else to say except that like Matthew Stafford has been slinging the ball. He's almost to 1,700 yards. He's at 1,671 yards passing. So his whole bread and butter is passing. Even for like in terms of the team stats, like apparently the Rams are 26 in the league in rushing yards. They are 14th though in passing yards. So you at least know like what their tell is mostly pass, but don't get it twisted. That run is still dangerous even if you don't see it that much cuz Kyron Williams is a bad man. He's like 533 yards, eight touchdowns. So and he has 139 carries, which I feel like that's a lot with the number of yards he has, but they're trying to run the ball with him.
Yeah, and the thing is that I think even uh, would you say the key to this game always like we're pretty consistent. The key to any game against the Seahawks always comes down to the trenches. I think that's a fair assumption here, right? Do you think the
Yeah.
matchup? Do you think the matchup here for the Rams' offensive line, even though it's a little bit battered against the Seahawks D line, is which is a favor which who has the favorable matchup here?
The thing is, you have to have you can make up for a bad O line to an extent, but like for instance with the Rams, been throwing the ball as quick as possible. Like they've been doing a lot of quick passes and stuff like that. Getting the ball out of his hands, try not to hold on the ball too long, but that depends on if our team is good enough in the pass rush and stuff like that. If we can't get to Matthew Stafford, it's going to be a long game, right? If we leave him with enough time, like we did with Josh Allen, then I think it's going to be a long game for us, as well as just, I know we can pass the ball, but the only issue is just that, like,
It's
I
just too
think
quick.
the one thing we've been consistent at is just we're shooting ourselves in the foot in every single game for the past, what, 4 games?
Yeah,
Was it
yeah.
four?
Those early mistakes,
Five
along with
games. Yeah.
those early mistakes, along with that, um, the pass heavy offense definitely just puts us even in a hole. Even if we don't make a lot of create a lot of turnovers, or even though we don't turn over the ball a lot. And I think the interesting thing here is, DK is actually having a very good year. But I
Yeah.
think that might be a product of, like, what we might be seeing is the product of DK being hurt, in the sense that, I think the big plays that he's had a lot of big plays this year, a
There
lot.
was some plays that he got called back. That shit, I didn't want it to get called back because Tyler Lockett was in motion. It was the
Yeah, so
49ers
stupid.
game.
That was the stupidest call ever. Not even in Baltimore. We've been on the tail end of a lot of dumb calls, but I think that's league wide. I can't use that as an excuse.
Of
But
course.
I think DK actually was kind of bailing us out on those deep plays, because those kind of, when those plays came, they kind of came out of nowhere. It's not like we were asserting ourselves in the game. It's funny because, like, it seems like the offense is the most efficient when they're running a 2 minute drill type of thing when they're behind. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, early on in the games, it just seems like we don't have a good script at the beginning of the games, and I think that's what, without DK there, it's more egregious, we'll say.
But you
Uh,
know who's gonna get some? Who's gonna get some looks?
Bobo,
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 Bobo.
Bobo. He caught a few passes last week.
Every time, man, the past couple seasons, it's just been like he catches a few here. I think a random touchdown there, but I need to see him in like a full game where he's actually playing. He's not just featured as a wide receiver four. I think we're having like a battle at the wide receiver. Well, prior to DK, and JSN, I think we've always had like a battle at the wide receiver three. I think right now we can say we have a battle at the wide receiver four position.
Mm.
With Bobo, and I forget who else do we put out there at receiver, man. Because I see Bobo here and there, but I know he's not out there all the time. But regardless, hopefully we get to see some good, So
Yeah,
that's just want
I
to get
mean,
that out there.
yep. So who do you got this weekend?
I'm gonna be head ass, and I will still say Seahawks, but I will tell you right now, a lot of NFL analysts have been saying Rams because
They're on the
they've been
rise,
on a
man.
tear. Yeah, they've been on a tear. I think like their last couple games was like, we're setting the tone here. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I don't know. Can we do that as a Seahawks? I'm gonna still say ride with the Seahawks, but if we lose this game, I believe trades are up. In my opinion, I don't know who. The only piece I can see that would be tradable is Tyler Lockett, but I don't know who'd want a receiver in that sense. I don't know who else we could trade. That's what I'm trying to say is we don't have
Yeah.
much on the defense to trade. It's really just, as you can see, we've been making trades on that side, but there's not much to trade unless we give up on the season. So,
Yeah, if we start thinking about blowing it up this early, man. I mean, the division is anybody's to take, I think, right?
it's still up. Like it's open. It's everyone's 4-4, and then the Rams are 3-4. If
Yeah,
they
because they have
win,
their
then we'll
bye.
be,
Yeah.
and then we'll be 4-5, and we'll have our bye, and then they'll go, and we'll see what happens, right? So,
Yeah,
it's
hopefully the Dodgers took up all the LA good luck. But I mean, I think that if I think our Seahawks' ability to win this game depends on their ability to establish a run, and
mhm.
I think the second half of this, or let's say the last half of the season, I guess, the last four
Yeah.
games, let's say, it's been tough. Even with K9 back, K9 back has been a huge game changer. But I think if we win, it's going to be a close win. If we lose, it could be a blowout. It's one of those type of things. So I think the Rams are going to come away with this one just because they can assert their will on us. We're not really defending the run well right now, but I'm head ass as well, so I think the Seahawks could win.
Yeah. I mean, we're on our fourth string right tackle, who is a rookie,
Hey,
which he's been playing well.
Charles Cross is ranked fourth among all offensive tackles in the league right
I'm
now.
not worried about Charles. See, the thing about Charles Cross, yeah, he had his
Put
mess
him on
ups
an
here and
island. He's
there.
good.
Yeah, put him on an island. He's really good. Hey, at the very least, which you go check out, if it's up here, check out the trade video we're going to talk about, because apparently Evan Neal is like a rumor for the Giants to trade. And I'm really sitting here, I'm like, is he just that bad, or they just have such a good piece that he shouldn't be on that team?
Yeah.
Which I think is the former.
Yeah. Anyway,
Because we could have taken Evan Neal. I think we took Charles Cross over Evan Neal, I think, at the time, if
was
I
it the
remember
same draft?
correctly. Yeah, same draft.
Oh, okay. Who would
I'm
have
glad
thunk?
we took the right left tackle, because I remember we were always talking about, we need a left tackle, y'all. Please. A
Ever since
franchise left tackle.
ever since Russell Okung.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then of course we're looking for a center and two guards.
Yeah. The entire inside of the offensive line right now is just those saloon doors.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think otherwise I meant to also add on the injury stuff here. I'm seeing Noah Fant is questionable too. Alongside DK, well, obviously DK Metcalf, and Laviska Shenault Jr., the receiver from the Jags. He actually was really surprisingly good in our special teams, and for because he got injured way early. I think he injured himself in the 49ers game, especially after he ran that touchdown in there. So he's questionable as well. And of course, other than that, that's about it, because I think Cameron Young and Draymond Jones are also questionable. So
yeah, we get
Cameron Young being our nose tackle, and Draymond Jones is our edge linebacker.
yeah. And I mean Draymond Jones is having a mixed season as well too, but Cameron Young, I think he's been serviceable in the snaps that he's come in on. Um, but yeah, I mean we really need some of these linemen to start coming back, especially like Abe Lucas or something. Maybe slide Mike Jarrell inside or something, but then you got to wonder why isn't Christian Haynes out there? Like there's
Oh,
something going on.
there was something on that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Look at you.
Look at us.
Um, so about the Anthony Bradford and the Christian Haynes like saga of how everyone's been noticing they've been going in and out and stuff, or like, taking like snaps here and there. That experiment is actually over. Um, Ryan Grubb came out and talked about how, like, I think with Haynes, he's young, but he needs to work on power and technique at the guard position, else you're going to get physically overwhelmed, which I think even in the Bills game and stuff like that, there is plays where Christian Haynes, if you go back and watch, was physically overwhelmed at certain stages and stuff like that. So now it's just the Anthony Bradford show, which, yes, he did start out with a lot of penalties, which he's come down on them. He still has his share here and there, but it's not as much as in the beginning when we were going 3-0. So that experiment apparently is over. That's from what I've seen on Field Goals, and I think some other sites as well.
And it's definitely I think last year or maybe it was the year before in the glorious Shane Waldron years that whoever was in at that position was often a tell for if we're going to run the ball or pass the ball. It's kind of like when we had Jimmy Graham out there. They're like, we know
Oh
they ain't running.
shoot. Right. I think it was Anthony Bradford again, because
Yeah.
it was Anthony Bradford and there was someone behind him. They kept switching him out back and forth
It
like
was a vet.
throughout.
I can't remember his name, but
I
yeah.
forget, he's not here anymore, but like it
Was it Luke
was
Jokel? No. I can't
uh
remember who it was.
Posick. I know it was,
Postage
what's his
was
name?
center.
Yeah, but I remember there was a little bit at center too at the time with
Yeah.
Ethan as well. But regardless, whenever you're doing a whole thing where you're cycling through your guards and stuff like that, at this point, either let Anthony Bradford start or you let Christian Haynes start, because one of them needs to get their reps, in my opinion. Not
Yeah.
like, okay, hey, that's good, go ahead, Christian, get out there, and it's like, okay, now I have to go in, and then it's like, okay, I'm having a good game. Okay, Anthony, get out there. Well,
Uh,
so just wanted to add that in there. And it looks like that experiment is over. Hopefully we can just have a solidified, these are our offensive linemen for better or for worse.
yeah, and I mean, hopefully they start turning it around. You got any final thoughts here before we sign off for it?
I hope we trade for a left guard, because that's the one that Lakin Tomlinson is on, because we don't really have anyone at left guard at all.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And there's some guards up, and if anything, I feel like we should be a little aggressive and try to get something for our O line. We've been kind of doing it for the defense, but our O line needs some love too. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
yeah, and if they don't, then they're gonna go heavy on it next year.
Right, because how come the Vikings, we'll talk about this, but how come the Vikings can make a trade for an offensive lineman, but we can't?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
just want to put that, but that's it for me, man.
All right, well, thank you for joining us here at Miss Reps. Hopefully, we're back again this time next week with the Seahawks are 5-4 video. Be sure
I
to like.
hope.
Me too. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you again next time.
Peace.